Sup Tube, welcome back to Legguido's Chop Shop, the second best Gel Blaster channel on the internet. And today on the bench I've got the Alpha King. I wonder how they came up with that name. This particular blaster has come to me direct from the sunny Gold Coast from Blaster Mafia. And I'm going to put a link down in the description to his store there so that you can pick yourself up one of these as well. Before we get too far into it, let's open this up and see what's in. Ooh, foam. Hey, that's cool. Got a cap. Gel Blaster Mafia cap. What else have we got? Some literature. Oh yes. Don't shoot at people's eyes. Keep it safe. That sort of stuff. Alright, what do we got in the box? Holy moly. Well, A1 for packaging. I don't think I've ever seen a Gel Blaster that's come so nicely packaged. This packaging is so soft and thoughtful. Safety goggles, as always. USB charger. What do we got in here? There's a battery in there. It looks like it could be a LiPo. Let me just... Yeah, it's a bossy LiPo. Hey, that's cool. Is it a 7 volt or a 11 volt? Let's find out. It looks like a 7. It's 2 cells, 7 volt LiPo. That's pretty cool though. I've never seen a blaster that comes standard with the bossy LiPo. The stock here. The muzzle, flash hider, muzzle tip thingamajiggy. We got the options of orange or black, depending on where you are and what your rules are, as to whether you have orange or black. And the blaster. Ooh, it's got some weight to it. That's nice. Hang on. Let me clear this up for you. Alright, on first impressions, the blaster itself looks like a solid unit. Alright, so on first appearances, seems to be a solid looking unit. Looks like there's a combination of some nylon and some metal. This looks like it's metal, the selection. This is trigger guard is metal. I think looks like the barrel, that's part of the it's one of the little tools that you have to do something. I forget what that's for, but looks like the barrel's metal. This is nylon. The stock seems a little light for me. Does seem a little light. The magazine looks like it's nylon. Seems fairly solid. Alright, I'm going to chuck this together. I'm putting the orange flash hider on, or muzzle brake, whatever it is. I'm sure someone in the comments is going to correct me. This is interesting. See here, there's a little pin here which locks it into position, and then when you wind it in, clicks in and holds it in the correct position there. it also stops you from being able to lose this tool. In the stock comes with this pin here, so once you've popped your stock into position, you pop that pin in there, and then that should allow your stock to fold. The pin's tapered. Worth noting, pin is tapered, skinny on one end, thick on the other end, so may have to go in the other way. Yes, alright, so there you go. Tapered pin goes in from the top only. Worth noting. Now, this is cool, interesting. This is not my first AK, but it is definitely the first video I've done on an AK, and it is definitely my first Alpha King. I'm very, very curious about this particular blaster. Alright, this upper cover appears to be nylon. There we go. Looks good, doesn't it? I wish the stock was a little bit more weighty. I'm sure I can do something about that. It's definitely got a lot of really nice details, like this QD sling point here. That's proper quick detach. All these little details. Sling point at the front, which I believe is, that's nylon, but yeah, the addition of the little barrel cleaning tool is very cool as well. I dare say that if you put a little bit of rag through that, you could use it to actually clean the barrel. Let me just check. You have to unscrew the flash hider first, and then you can remove that. I think if you popped a little bit of rag through that hole, you could clean the barrel in case you need to clean it. Got any gel blockages? I have found myself in the field before where I've had a gel blockage either in the magazine or in the barrel, and it would have been very nice to have such a feature at the time. I've got the battery in here. It actually pops in here, so you pop this little piece here out, and then this front section pops out. I've got the battery sitting in there. I've charged it up and we're ready to go, so I think we should probably just take this to the chrono and do some initial tests before we get any further, before I tear the whole thing apart. So I'm going to fill up the mag now, and check this out. It's got one of those top opening mag designs where you pour the gels in the top, but look at this. You can do it without fingernails. How good's that? You probably want to be careful of these solder joints here though. You don't want to break the wires off when you open the mag up. That's yeah, so just be careful of that. So that's a max of 284, minimum of 258, and an average of 276. Damn, that's good for out of the box. Damn, son, I don't think I'm going to be doing any upgrades on this thing because it is already there. Like, I will take it apart and take a look at what's inside. Hey, that's pretty cool as well, by the way, the folding stock. It releases there, locks in place, releases here. Yeah, I wanna see what's inside. Again, I haven't taken one of these apart, so it's going to be a journey. But let's see how we go. Pop this tapered pin back out. Get that stock out of the way. Get this mag out of the way. By the way, the milkies that you just saw fall out of the T-piece when I release this mag are just standard LDT milkies, nothing spectacularly fancy about them, just stuff that I had lying around. Or yeah, so all that testing was done just with ordinary old milkies that were sitting around the workshop. Alright, I think I'm going to have to take this off. It's a 2.5mm hex. Looks like we've got a 480 motor in here. Yep, 480. Thereabouts. Not sure what the specs are. Black case, red cap. Red nylon gearbox I can see already. Poking through there. Very nice looking red nylon too, I might add. Now, to release the battery in this, you just pull that pin out, push this section forward, and it should pop out. There we go. While I got the top off this here, might be worth taking a look at this blowback mechanism. So the way this works here is you've got this spring across the top of the gearbox, and there's a linkage here, this black piece, which connects into the actual plunger, into the back of the plunger. So when the plunger pulls back in the gearbox, it pulls this back, which then pulls back the cocking / ejection mechanism. So every time the plunger cycles, so does that. Separately in front of this linkage is another spring, which is just for when you want to feel like a badass and rack that with your little pinky finger. I don't know what it is about that, something about it. It doesn't have the same thing that the RX AK has, where when you change magazines you actually have to rack it to be able to fire again, which I thought was really cool when I first played with the RX. Although it did have me confused for a bit because I didn't actually know what I'd done wrong and why the thing wasn't firing anymore. But nonetheless, it is all still very cool. Simple yet effective. There's no weight in here like the think the RX actually had a weight on top of this. So this is just a piece of nylon. I think the RX actually had a piece that was a bit heavier. So when it did actually reciprocate, it gave you a bit of recoil action as well. Like you actually felt it a bit. This one doesn't have that, but nonetheless, still very, very cool and simple mechanism. It will restrict you, I believe, in upgrading the cylinder, because you would have to stay with this cylinder with the slot for the mechanism inside it. But hey, 280 out of the box, who wants to replace the cylinder? Whatever. Just going to take this flash hider off, which will allow me to remove the cleaning tool. There's also another pin here, which you can pull that up and then out from there, and that's what holds the front of this in place. Now you can probably hear that. That is aluminium. That is aluminium outer barrel there. That's interesting. Like a little O-ring or something in there to dampen the inner barrel by the looks of it. Cute. Now, this looks like this button that holds the top dust cover on. If you push it forwards, it actually pops out, allows you to slide that whole recoil assembly out, and looks like we can see a bit more of the crux of the gearbox. You can see down in here now, you got a good view of that slotted plunger, and I do like the fact that they've reinforced the top of this nylon gearbox with a little piece of sheet metal here, which, you know, just adds a little bit of extra strength, I think, that may have been lacking from having a hole in the top of it. Looks like there's a couple more pins holding this rear sight assembly in place there. Might just have to knock them out with a punch. And another one at the front there. Now that those pins are knocked out, the outer barrel assembly slides off. And inside this outer barrel, there's 4 of these little O-rings. Let me get one out and I'll show you. Here we go. There's 4 of these little O-rings which actually go in between the outer barrel and the inner barrel. There's one of them we could see through the little slot here earlier on. They just help to dampen the vibration of the inner barrel inside the outer barrel to help with accuracy. That's cool. I've not seen them in a standard blaster before. I tend to do stuff like this, not necessarily with little O-rings like this, but just wrapping a little bit of electrical tape around the barrel, just so that it's tight against the outer barrel, so there's no additional vibrations or anything, because you don't want vibrations in the barrel. Obviously, any vibrations will affect your accuracy. So it looks like there is bit of hot glue holding that wire in place. Get rid of that. And 4 more Allen head screws in the top here. They look like they hold the T-piece down into the receiver. Alright, there's your T-piece down in there. It is held in there quite nicely with that plate bolted down on top of it. Focus. That plate there bolted down on top holds it nice and tight in there. That's a pretty good design. I like that. No problems there with like loss of air against the nozzle in there. That's for sure. One of the things that I've always been a little bit, not happy with in the M4 designs is the way the barrel free floats and just sort of sits against the front of the gearbox. In my opinion, it's poor design because it does allow for movement and air leaks and that sort of thing. Anyway, moving on. Looks like I'll have to remove this select fire switch. Some sort of, probably a 8mm, I think. Let's have a look. Alright, it's actually an Imperial 1/4 size socket. Don't hack at it with a thumb detecting nut fucker and pliers. You know what I'm talking about. Right. Now I think that's everything. Let me just see. Should be able to pop this out now. I think I might have to remove the barrel from the T-piece. Oh, that was easy. Interesting. It's not glued in at all. It's just sitting there. Friction fit. Seemed to work though. I don't know for how long. I'll probably think about gluing that in perhaps. Now the gearbox. Should just slide out of the lower. And there it is. Wow, what a thing. Huh. Alpha King Ultra Custom Motor. There you go. That really is a nice looking gearbox. You can see the linkage there for the fire select. Actually goes through the back of the gearbox from the offside and it's metal gears. The gearbox is quite heavy. It feels like it's solid. It feels like it's got a bit of weight to it. It's obviously good strong internals. There is a wire for the mag terminal which runs across the front of the gearbox here. It was mentioned to me that that wire may get in the way of the mag when the mag is seated into the mag well. I can see that being a thing, but I mean, I guess you could route the wire elsewhere. I don't see it as too much of an issue. I mean, I didn't have any issues with the mag when I was testing it. It did feel a little bit loose in there, but I didn't feel that the wire itself was obscuring it at all. I think that's probably quite fine as it is. That's a nice long nozzle, aluminium nozzle. Looks like stainless, perhaps. Yeah, stainless cylinder. That was a magnet, by the way, in case you're wondering. Ball bearings all round. I'm not a huge fan of ball bearings, but you know, they do the job if they're good. Got this. This looks. I think this is a V3 gearbox, or at least based there off of V3. I've never actually seen a V3 before. This is the first time I've had one in my hands. Imagine that part can probably go aside for now. Yeah, so this is a new thing for me. I'm seeing this for the first time, as are you, I suppose. Maybe. Very cool. Alright. Enough mucking about, let's get into it. It's got a decent sized spring in there. Let's check it out. I might chuck it on the dyno, of course. It is a 1.3. In case you can't see that. So on the spring dyno here, looks like it reads a 10 on the low Guido scale. Alright, let's get down to business, eh? Alright, this motor out of the way. I gotta say, I'm getting more and more excited the further we get in with this blaster. There's certainly few things that could probably be improved, but this gearbox looks so far looks amazing. pinion gear, metal pinion gear. You might not be able to see that, but I can surely see inside here that there is a metal gear set in this blaster. I'm just gonna see if I can pop this. Slide that off. All right. Aluminium nozzle. Aluminium cylinder head. Stainless cylinder head. Aluminium nozzle, stainless cylinder head. The trigger looks like it's nylon, which is interesting. Probably one of the only things, other than the actual external case, that remains nylon. Everything else, they seem to be metal. Alright, have I got everything? I hope so. Try and take this apart. Now, as I said, this is the first V3. I think it's a V3. Is it a V3? Someone will correct me for sure in the comments. What's this little piece here? This is the first V3 that I've actually seen, so it is a learning experience for me. But whoa, I can see metal gears. Okay, it seems like this bit just pops off. There we go. It's like a little guard for the gears, so that it doesn't spray. What's the word? Oil, so it doesn't spray oil all out the front of the gearbox there. All right. There it is. Oh my gosh. Look at that. It's got metal gears and it's got shims, and it is shimmed. Oh my lord. Aluminium head, cylinder head, aluminium nozzle. Has that got O-rings? If that's got O-rings in it, man, I'm going to be excited. And check this cylinder nozzle. Oh, no O-rings. That's so unfortunate, because that's an awesome nozzle. That's a spectacular nozzle. Wow. Oh man. All right, guys. So let me just show you something here. Hold on, I'll clear some space. All right, so this is an airsoft nozzle. This is a gel blaster nozzle. Now you can tell the airsoft nozzle is an airsoft nozzle generally because, 6mm. See this? See that? Now this is a gel blaster nozzle. See the difference? Now, if you're wondering why so many V2 boxes are suffering in the accuracy department, it's because they all use V2 boxes, and therefore they all use this airsoft style nozzle, which is great, except it's tiny because it's designed for 6mm projectiles, not 7 to 8mm, 7.5mm gels. So you look at a Gen 9, you see it's like, you can see the difference, right? It's huge. Now, look at the Alpha King. It looks like they've almost come to the party. They're halfway there. They're not quite as big as the Gen 9 nozzle. They're not quite there, but they're definitely bigger than the V2. If you can see that, I'm probably should just get the verniers out and measure it, just cause. All right. So you're looking at 5.5 for Gel Blaster, 4.2 for Airsoft, and the Alpha King is 4.42. So we're getting somewhere in the nozzle department at least. I'm glad they didn't just try to repurpose an airsoft nozzle for gel blasters, which is what every other company seems to be doing at this time. Also, guys, Metal Gears. Can you see this? Metal Gears. This is the first ever gel blaster to be manufactured with metal gears and shimmed inside a proper gearbox. Like, there's nothing for me to do here. I might have a look at this O-ring, but other than that, there is nothing for me to upgrade here. There is no reason for me to be here. There is no reason for me to pull this apart and do anything, because everything is done. It's ready to go. It's got a good air seal. It's got a great air seal. It's done. Everything's done. The only thing that I wish they probably had done is to put an O-ring into that nozzle. If they put an O-ring in that nozzle, this gearbox would be, dare I say, perfect. This is the best Gel Blaster gearbox I've ever seen, standard out of the box. The first and only Metal Gear standard Gel Blaster out of the box. I know a couple of people are going to be like, oh no, there was others with metal. No, there wasn't. There was a couple of backyard specials like the RX-AK and the HK 416 where some people threw some Metal Gears in them after the fact and marketed them as Metal Gear versions, but they never left the factory that way, I guarantee it. This is it. This is the future. I hope it is. This is, what can I say? This is awesome. I mean, this is what I do to gel blasters when people bring them to me. I do this, and this is done. It's all done. It's ready to go. That is awesome. There's literally nothing for me to do here but put it back together and go have fun. I was gonna, usually I would end a video by putting it all back together with the upgrades I've done and chronoing it to see what difference that makes, and I'm not going to do that. I can't. Well, there's nothing for me to do here. There's no reason for me to chrono this after the fact. It's done. This is the best blaster out of the box I've ever seen. Full stop. End of story. I probably should stop saying that because I think I said that with the last 3 blasters that I've seen. The HK was amazing. I mean, this isn't perfect. This isn't perfect. There's a few things that I'm not super happy about. One of them is the fit of the mag. The fit of the mag seems a bit weird. Some people have said if you move that wire, it makes it better, or if you remove this tab that holds the gels from falling out when they're not in the blaster, that also makes it a bit better. But I haven't had any problems so far, other than it just being a little bit of a loose fit, and I can deal with that. The receiver, the metal bits on it, and everything, the blowback, it's awesome. I'm gonna leave it at that, guys. I'm gonna leave it at that because there's no point me continuing this video, putting this all back together and talking about it. I mean, this is ready to go. The only thing I guess you could do if you really wanted to is put a bigger spring in. But it's already sitting up at about 280 FPS, 270, 280 FPS, which is sort of peaking the limit of what most fields allow anyway. So yeah, hey, my work here is done. There's nothing for me to do. Again, shout outs to Gel Blaster Mafia. I'm going to put a link in the description to Gel Blaster Mafia so you can get this blaster from them. Yeah, and don't do anything to it. Just use it out of the box, ready to go. It's awesome. Maybe a hop up. Hop up probably put a hop up on there. Everything needs a hop up. But yeah, I'm gonna call it a night, guys. Thanks for watching. Oh my gosh, 9,000 subscribers. I hit 9,000 subscribers the other day. Thank you guys. I love you guys. I never thought that I'd ever be saying I've got 9,000 subscribers. Don't forget, I've still got a few patches left. If you're keen on a patch, hit me up. Also, please support my channel by buying me a coffee. I'll put a link down below for that as well. Yeah, catch you next time. Thanks for watching.